Hi, this is Deborah Atkinson, the author of You Still Got It Girl, the After 50 Fitness Formula for Women. And I know, like me, you probably tell yourself sometimes you just don't have time to exercise. Or you're really trying to be very productive and very good and get your work done first. So you convince yourself you have time to just do one more thing, or check one more email, or hit on your Facebook, social media for a while, even if you can claim that that is part of your work, as I can. But I'm here to tell you that you do have time, and that not pulling yourself away from the laptop or the computer or the desk, whatever your work is, or the things that you think you have to do. Maybe for you it's housework and chores and errands and just that long list of your mental to-do that you feel like you can't pull yourself away from, and you're not going to exercise, or you don't have time to, until you get that done. It's a myth. So here's what's going to happen. The more you do that, the more likely you are to convince yourself that it's absolutely true you don't have time, because by the end of that long list and that to-do errands list, you're going to be tired, exhausted, probably have expended your willpower for the day and then some, because you don't have the patience, you've dealt with people, you had to wait in lines, the traffic was heavy, all of those things that come up in a normal, typical day, that if you don't have a break, you don't have a way to put some willpower back in, they're going to happen to all of us. So the trick is to find a way to break away, to create some kind of an alarm that you abide by. And you actually do break away, and you make the time, even though work isn't done, you've got this workout time planned, and you do it, you abide by it, you honor it, and then you come right back in and jump in. So one of the ways to get that done, and basically it's productivity, right? Whether it's productivity for you around the house on days when you're not working, or it's you being productive at work with your things you need to get done today, your highest priorities. It's about planning. Plan your day. It's as simple as that, but there's a follow-up I'm going to give you, so hang in there. You have time as long as you plan it. So plan your day out the night before. So don't wing it and say, I want to exercise today, but not have a time or an appointment. You would never do that if you had a doctor's appointment or a dentist appointment, or had to get your hair color, right? Important stuff. So you've got to commit to the appointment. So write it down. You know, you get up at what time? What time is it? You're gonna 9 to 10 o'clock. You're gonna do some creative work. 10 o'clock to 11 o'clock is your workout. Plus your shower. Maybe 12 o'clock you're gonna break for lunch, and maybe you check your emails. 1 to 3 you have afternoon meetings, and so on and so on. So you get it. You've got to insert that into your day and make it a part of what has to happen today. So otherwise a week goes by, a month goes by, and pretty quickly a year goes by, and you have intended to have an exercise program, but you haven't done it. So let's talk about the time. I said 10 to 11, implying it takes an hour, and it doesn't. So if you need to fit it in on a really busy day, probably the day you need to exercise the most in order to fuel your willpower back for the rest of the day, maybe it's 6 minutes of a power walk before lunch. That's been shown to decrease the caloric intake and the volunteer choices that people make when they go through a buffet. And if you know, like me, a buffet is like a landmine. That's the worst possible place to take someone who's trying to watch what they eat, because sampling numerous things of different colors is a nightmare. Most of us can't handle ourselves very well in that instance, and we tend to eat about 99% of anything that we put on our own plate. So not a great thing. But 6 minutes, that's all it took. And it may boost your brain power, it may give you some deeper breathing for circulation, decrease your stress level, but also make you have better choices at your next meal. Well worth it. If you have 10 minutes, you can get a full workout. You choose 3 exercises for major muscle groups, and those are things like squats or lunges or chest press or bent over rows or pulling actions, pushing actions, and leg actions, basically, that involve a lot of muscles and multi-joints at one time. You choose 3 of those and you circle through them 3 times. Once if you're a beginner, twice as you progress, and then 3 times ultimately. You get a lot of exercise in 10 minutes that's very focused, very concentrated, and can help you stay consistent. So there may come days when you actually do have that half hour or even the hour. You don't have to have it though. Consistency is your #1 best-selling friend for fitness at any age, but particularly over 50. You can't afford to skip a week like you could when you were 20. Now it's really important. So 6 minutes, 10 minutes, and it gets easier the longer you have available. You do have time to exercise, and you will be more productive if you actually take the time to exercise.